Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Motorhead Garage is presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Welcome to the brand new studios of Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Chances are, Motorheads, this segment is going to apply to you. If you're a racer, you're going to want to pay attention. If you own a motorcycle, you're also going to love this segment. And if you have a classic vehicle like this 1974 Corvette, this segment is for you. Now, Jesse, how can you help me when I've got a classic car like this with a carburetor in it, can't start, I've got issues with it? What can you do for me?
Well, as you know, when cars get older, they're getting harder to start, and it's a pain in the butt, really. So by going to port fuel injection with something from Max ECU and using various aftermarket components, intake manifolds and whatnot, we can make it so it starts every time. You don't gotta wait for it to warm up. There's no sitting there double pumping the throttle to set the choke, or worrying if the electric choke's even working, if the fuel's gone rotten, anything like that. The ECU can usually get around it and you can go drive. It's just like driving your brand new car. Easier starting, better fuel mileage, which we all want nowadays. You can put the power to the ground as well, because you have a lot of safety features and monitoring action that goes on within the ECU, and it kind of helps tune itself as you're going down the road. So as your engine ages, it can kind of keep up with that, and you don't have to do anything mechanically to keep your engine going. In
the racing realm, people don't think about efficiency very much because they think of fuel economy, but that's not where you're aiming.
Absolutely not. So when it comes to a race car engine, or even a race bike engine, your primary focus is extracting the most amount of horsepower from every little bit of gasoline you put in that. That's how you make power. With an ECU like this, you can control your timing, your fuel delivery, and not just how much fuel is delivered, the timing of when it's delivered, so it's hitting the valves at the perfect time and getting the perfect air-fuel ratio. We have powertrain management, launch control, and traction control, all in this nice little black box. So you don't need a bunch of different boxes to make something happen. It's just going to put the power to the ground. And it has a really cool feature where if you go out and make one clean run, you can use as a baseline to make runs from later on. And the computer will try and match that from there on out. And you can tell it, hey, I want a little bit more or I want a little bit less depending on traction conditions, and it'll handle it for you. It takes a little bit of tinkering to get it perfectly dialed in, but it takes a lot of the hassle out of trying to drive a super high horsepower car that's limited on traction.
When you're buying a Max ECU unit from a dealer like you, what comes with it?
Typically you'll get a base map from whoever your dealer is, especially from me, so I always make sure that my customers are set up on a base map that's going to get their car up and going. Car, bike, motorcycle, doesn't matter. I'm going to get them up and running. And then if they want to play with more features from there, I'm also going to walk them step by step through it. Most guys can sit down in an evening and learn the software. There's a really big red help button in the software, which makes it really nice and easy if you get stuck somewhere. There's also YouTube videos right in the help section that explain certain features, how to set them up, and how to optimize them. And if you get stuck, you call me, I have you do a data log. You send that data log to me, and I make it run for you from the other end. I'll send you a new tune file and help you get it going properly.
I see you have a few different models here. Let's walk through what each one is and what it's for.
So this is the big bad boy. This is going to be for everything up to a V12. It has built-in dual O2 sensors, 12 built-in EGT sensors, so you can monitor your exhaust gas temperatures and whatnot, and then 12 injector outputs and 12 ignition outputs, plus around 30 analog inputs for monitoring all sorts of data throughout your vehicle. Really is the big bad boy. The race is what I recommend for V8s. It has 8 fuel outputs, 8 ignition channels for doing coil near plug, and it also has the built-in 8 EGTs for monitoring your individual cylinder trims. You go down to the Sport, that's more aimed at like a street rod or a 6-cylinder even. You can run a V8 on these in wasted spark, wasted fuel, and it'll actually still do quite well. Built-in O2 sensor on that as well. The Mini, we keep these for like personal watercraft, motorcycles, ATVs. They work great. 4 injector outputs, 4 ignition channels, and a few extra analog inputs.
What's it like to install these?
All of these you can order with a 12-foot flying lead harness. And that harness, it's pinned at the ECU end. You wire it out to the sensors, crimp it, connect it, and follow the really nice instructions that come with it, and you'll probably get it started up in a day or two. The other option is you have me build a harness for you, and I do all my harnesses race spec, done up in DR25, laced, the whole 9 yards, so it makes them nice and flexible, and they're going to take a lot of abuse over the lifespan and not let you down.
You told me you're OCD, and you take a look at the way those are bundled up. That is some magnificent work right there.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you put a ton of time into that.
Yes, and it's gasoline resistant, diesel resistant, oil resistant, fire resistant. Believe it or not, I've had a few cars that have had engine fires, and it's withstood pretty well. Like I said, not many harnesses can take being just tied up into a knot and come back, take some more for it. And it's very small diameter. There's almost 30 wires there.
We talked about efficiency, but let's talk about safety. How can I benefit safety-wise from one of these?
Absolutely. Everybody puts a lot of money into their engines and they want to save them. So if you run low on oil pressure, fuel pressure, you're running too lean, these computers can shut your engine down and save it. Traction control also will kick in to keep you from losing the car in the rain or just overdriving it.
There's a whole lot of applications for the Max ECU, and the wiring harnesses are spectacular. Check all of this out at jbtechracing.com. We'll be right back with more cool products just like this one when we come back to Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Don't go anywhere.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radios since 1977. Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. And by Oil Undercoating, the official oil-based rust prevention system.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. You know, I always say that the tire is the unsung hero of any vehicle. Your tire goes bad, you have a bad day, you're dead in the water. And the valve stem, Neil, is the Achilles heel of the tire itself. It can go bad in so many ways. What can go wrong?
Well, it can get knocked out from a rock, from a stick, from various things on the trail with your ATVs on the farm. The same thing can occur. The sun is probably the biggest enemy to your tire valves from rot. They'll just break off, and then you've got to go change the whole thing.
Now, how did your family experience trouble with the valve stem firsthand?
Well, Colby, my grandson, who I named the valve stem after, races ATVs. And he knocked one out one weekend, run his weekend. As you know, part of those wheels have a 24-bolt pattern for the bead locks. And it was just impossible for them, in the condition they were in, to change that valve stem in it. Needless to say, he was hacked off. And I just saw this thing. It just appeared in front of my eyes. And I told Colby, the next time you go out, you'll have a tire valve you can install from the outside of your wheel.
Let's see how it works.
This is the one I built for Colby.
Okay, that's the original Colby valve right there.
And then we get into the production, and we have this one we deem as an emergency valve. And this particular valve will fit your tractors and things, anything that has a 5/8 diameter hole in it. We have the little stubby, which is very small. It doesn't stick out too much from the small wheels, such as your lawnmowers, your ATVs, things of that nature. We have what we call the permanent valve, which I think is the best for overall purpose. Mm-hmm. We do have an aluminum version, anodized in the black, another permanent valve. These are all considered as permanent valves. This is what we call the emergency valve.
All right.
Can be installed without a wrench. Ideally, this is a good product to have in your toolbox at all times. Just like Band-Aids or anything else.
Sure, it's a Band-Aid for your tire.
It may not be your tire, it may be your buddy's.
Right.
We find people using them, and they'll equip the entire vehicle, especially in the ATV, UTV, with them to begin with. They'll just use them exclusively.
Well, how much stronger is this than a stock valve?
We advertise it to be 20 times stronger. It failed in lab tests on pressure to 3,100 pounds.
And we know it's going to last because this is your prototype. How long did that last in your vehicle?
41,000 miles in a front end of an F-150.
Unreal. You have the emergency valves. How many folks are actually using the permanent ones right off the bat when they get new tires?
In our shop, and what we see sell online, the emergency does outsell the permanent because they can use the emergency for a permanent. It's not necessarily just for an emergency. It can be left in a tire.
All right, well, let's see how the emergency one works. How confident are we that this is going to work? Well, Colby, we have a perfectly good tire here. Go ahead and take the valve stem right off here. There's no turning back now once we get this thing off. All right, that can happen to anybody on the trail. What are you doing there?
I'm having to knock the rest of the valve stem back into the wheel just because where we cut it, it wasn't able to get the whole valve stem out of the wheel.
Okay, so once you knock it in, then you take your Colby valve.
Take your Colby valve. Basically, I've always told people you put it in the wheel just like an old John boat plug. After you insert the valve stem into the wheel, make sure the rubber's flush with the face of the wheel. You just simply start tightening it down.
And that makes the rubber seal expand in there.
And as it expands, it just tightens itself into the wheel, and it starts showing the threads and the valve core and everything you need to put air back into the tire.
Your valve stem is good to go. Just add air. Very cool. Thank you, Colby. And if you want to find the Colby valve for yourself, go to Amazon, go to colbyvalve.com, pick one up, carry it in your toolbox all the time because you never know when you're going to need it. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings coming up, so do not go anywhere. Thanks for tuning in to Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. We have seen Tireject and how it's great at getting you out of trouble by the side of the road if you have a puncture. It will certainly rescue you, but more common, Brandon, we see folks getting a slow leak. Maybe your car's sitting for a week and you come there to drive it on Saturday morning and you've got a flat tire. How does that happen?
Yeah, we see that a lot with temperature changes, because what happens, the temperature drops overnight and the rubber contracts, and it'll expose little holes around the bead of your tire, and that's the seal between the rubber tire and the rim.
And what are your options?
So typically, you got to take it to the dealer. If the tire's flat, like what do you do? How do you get it there? And the dealer might try to use a wire brush to clean any debris off to try to get the tire to seal. But a lot of times, probably one of our most popular reviews for our automotive tire sealant is customers that are like, thank you for this product, because I've taken my car to the dealer several times and they're unable to seal the bead leak that they have, and they use our product and it seals it right away.
Amazing. How does it actually work?
So our tire sealant is made with a liquid rubber and a aramid fiber, and it's also really, really thin. So what will happen, it'll easily slosh up onto the sidewall and also get up into the bead area, and it will seal any kind of little micro holes, anything that's going on there. So you'll never have that moment where you wake up in the morning and see that you have a flat tire and can't go to work.
We see how it can repair tiny, tiny holes like that, but we've also seen Tireject and how it can repair big holes from punctures and things like that, as we touched on earlier. How big of a hole can it actually repair?
For automotive, we can do 1/4 of an inch. And yeah, the demo we did earlier, we did this, and this board was actually nailed to the tire, and we sealed it right up with no problem.
Yeah, and you can see right where we did it. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's really cool. What's it like to install Tireject?
So Tireject is really easy to install. It'll take you less than 5 minutes and anyone can do it. Our kit comes with everything you need. So it comes with the valve core removal tool to remove the valve core from inside the valve stem. And then there is a cap with a hose on it, and that hose slides right over to the valve stem, and you can squeeze the contents of the pouch straight into the tire. You're putting the valve core back in, airing the tire back up, and you're driving and you're on your way.
We've talked about how Tireject works around the bead, but how does it seal a big hole like we're talking about with a puncture?
So I mentioned that Tireject's made with that liquid rubber, and it also has those super strong aramid fibers. Well, those fibers will clot together and they'll seal in those larger punctures, and then the liquid rubber is actually what will permanently seal and bond to the rubber of the tire.
And we know Tireject can be used on passenger tires, but what other kinds of tires can we use it on?
We also have our off-road formula, and that can be used on ATVs, lawnmowers, wheelbarrows, anything that is off-road.
And quickly, is it safe for my tires?
Yeah, absolutely. The materials we use, they do not cause any kind of corrosion or any kind of rust issues on the tire. And the automotive formula is also designed to be TPMS safe, so you're not going to have any issues.
Well, you've seen it here. Tireject really works. Get yours at tireject.com.
Well, we're here with a Dorman tech tip and another phenomenal solution. Let me give you a scenario. You're driving down the road and your car starts to overheat. Well, the tech tip, it could be electrical or it could be mechanical, maybe a physical leak. Good thing you can do is pop the hood and look under there. If your reservoir is full of coolant, well, it's probably electrical. If it's empty, you may want to do a pressure test, and that's pretty easy. You just take a pressure tester like this, put it on top of the radiator, pump it up, and check for the leaks. Now, if you have a leak, you may have a problem. Many Chrysler, Dodge, Jeeps have the plastic water fittings that actually go into the block. You can see it right here. Yes, it's plastic, and it bolts onto the front of the timing cover. Now, what do? You go down to the dealer, you get a another one, you put the plastic on, you have a massive job, time-consuming job, and you have to redo it once again. Well, no worries. Our friends at Dorman have the solution. They upgraded to an aluminum housing, but not only the housing here, you can see the water housing. Number one, you're never going to damage this because when you put the hoses on there, it dry rots, it starts to have problem. Aluminum housing here with the gasket surface on the back, that's going to bolt to the timing cover. Now they even topped that. You can see right here, they have the actual whole timing cover assembly right here. Everything you need to do the job. Do it right and do it once. No more leaks, no more cracks, no more catastrophic coolant damage that could actually cause engine problems. Also, you get all the gaskets. You don't have to go back to the auto parts stores 3, 4, 5 times and make sure they fit because it comes in a kit. You can see the gaskets here, the actual material that goes down in there. You even get the O-rings and the front seal. And if that's not enough, the sealant, the actual sealant for the gaskets are located right here. That's going to take care of the job. Do the job once, do it right. All this stuff's quality tested to make sure it's a durable fit. It's quality engineered. You know, Dorman, they have a passion for solving problems. I'm John Gardner for Dorman. We'll see you next time.
We're all about cool products and cool technology here at Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. And we've got a whole lot more coming up next, so do not go anywhere.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. The Last Coat cleans, shines, and protects. S&W Performance Group, building for champions since 1959. Corvette Correction, doing business one-on-one. And by Dorman Products, driving new solution. Time now for the lowdown with Magic Creeper.
Here at Motorhead Garage, we love the Magic Creeper. We use it all the time. I know we've told you about it. We use it on our television remotes. We use it here in the studio to accomplish all kinds of tasks. We all have one at home. We use it in our vehicles. We use it in our house. You're going to find a million uses for the Magic Creeper. Whether you're kneeling on it, you can use it for any low-down stuff in your house. If you're using it around the car, you can wash your car, clean your wheels, check your air pressure by kneeling on the Magic Creeper. It's going to keep you off the gravel, going to keep you off that hard concrete outside or in your garage. You can also, of course, use the Magic Creeper as a creeper under your car. It has 0 ground clearance. It's not like a traditional creeper that has wheels that's going to raise you 4 or 5 inches closer to the car. Magic Creeper gives you a lot more space underneath the vehicle, and then once you get on the creeper, you can move it side to side, back and forth, just like a traditional creeper. But it's even better than that because the Magic Creeper works on rough surfaces, gravel, tree roots, through the dirt, through the mud. If you're on the side of the road, if you're in your yard, your garage, or your driveway, the Magic Creeper gives you a smooth ride, gliding back and forth, much better than any traditional creeper would do. Of course, you can use the Magic Creeper as a fender cover if you're trying to protect your vehicle from scratches, or if you're trying to protect your clothes from getting dirty or getting torn up. Throw the Magic Creeper over the fender and you can check all the fluids in your car, do any work you need to do under the hood. The great thing about the Magic Creeper, you can take it with you. Just roll it up. It only weighs 3 pounds. You can throw it behind your seat, under the seat, or in the trunk. Take it with you everywhere you go. Use it in case of an emergency. Heck, it even makes a good emergency blanket. You can check out the Magic Creeper. Buy one for yourself. You can buy one as a gift for somebody you love. Check them out at magiccreeper.com. Brian Hansen is the lead engineer at Tribotex, and he gets a lot of emails. I got a chance to look through them, Brian, and I picked out some of the most popular emails you get. And the first one is a question that I ask anytime I'm going to put anything near my vehicle. Is it safe for my vehicle?
It's safe for all vehicles. Doesn't matter if you have a performance car, an off-roader, or a daily driver, this thing is safe in any engine. Took us many years to develop it and make sure that it will be safe in any engine now and in the future.
Even my old classic car?
Your old classic car is going to love it. They removed lead from the fuel. That was a good lubricant. We've used zincs and such. This nanoparticle is superior to that technology, and it's a non-toxic, so you don't have to worry about its environmental impact.
I know a lot of new cars, you know, oil weights have changed a lot. It used to be just throw whatever oil you want in the car, and now new cars are so particular about what they need. So does it work with the brand new cars as well?
Yes. One of the best things about Tribotex is that it is a small amount of particles that are a lot of particles in a very small tube. So we do not change the behavior of your oil. It doesn't matter if you use Tribotex with synthetic or conventional oils. We do not manipulate the oil. We just use it as a carrier for our nanoparticles.
And another question question that gets asked a lot. How long does Tribotex last? One dose, I guess, you put in your car.
Tribotex is terrible for us, but great for the people because it ends up lasting in your engine for over 40,000 miles. We recommend it maybe once every year, but really you can go a couple years without needing another application.
How do I know this isn't some snake oil I'm going to put in my car? What is going to indicate to me right away that it's working?
A lot of people in about 15 minutes of running will notice that their engine will get smoother, quieter, and in time you will see a performance increase because of the combustion efficiencies are going to up a little. So we're going to see better efficiencies inside the cylinder walls. You're going to have less friction. You're going to hear less lifter noise. You're going to have easier starts in the winter. There's lots of benefits that come from this tiny little tube.
And what are some of the benefits I'm going to see long term?
Long term, your car's not going to die. It's going to keep going. If you accidentally run out of oil, we do not recommend that. But in some cases, we've had customers come to tell us that they have survived and made it to a shop without oil.
Well, the science is there. They prove it on their website. You can check them out there. It's tribotex.com. It's great for any vehicle, so go and check it out and see what it can do for you. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed the ride. I know we did. We're going to do it once again next week, so be sure to tune in then. In the meantime, if you have a product you'd love to see on our show, email Jeff at masterstv.com. We'll get you here in our new Masters Television studios. So long from our entire crew here at Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Drive safely. We'll see you.